The psychological script system, gravity line. 5.5. The counterintuitive truth about why high net worth individuals experience money anxiety. You've checked your accounts twice this week, not because something's wrong, because you needed to make sure it was still there. 7 figures, maybe 8, numbers that should feel like safety. And somehow, you're more anxious now than when you had nothing. You lie awake, calculating scenarios that will never happen. You see risk everywhere, the kind of risk that doesn't show up in spreadsheets. You've built something real, you've done what you were supposed to do, and the relief you expected never came. Instead, there's this quiet hum, this low-grade tension that lives in your chest. You've never said it out loud because how do you explain being afraid when you have everything? How do you admit that the money didn't fix it, that it made something worse? This isn't about having more. This is about what having more revealed. You thought the problem was scarcity. It wasn't. The problem is still here. And now you know it was never about the money at all. Something inside you changed the moment you crossed the threshold, the moment you realized you had enough to lose. That's when the fear moved in, not the fear of not having, the fear of it disappearing. And that fear doesn't leave. It just gets quieter, more sophisticated, more justified. You tell yourself it's prudence, discipline, strategic thinking. But late at night, when you're running the numbers again, you know what it really is. You're terrified. And the worst part, no one around you would believe it, because from the outside, you have it all. From the inside, you're standing on glass. There's a specific moment that happens. You don't always recognize it when it's happening, but later, when you look back, you see it clearly. It's the moment you stop worrying about making it and start worrying about keeping it. The shift is subtle. It doesn't announce itself. One month you're climbing, the next month you're defending. And no one prepared you for how different that feels. When you have nothing, the rules are simple. You need more. Every decision points in one direction. Build, earn, grow. The goal is clear. The anxiety has a shape. You know what you're afraid of, not having enough. But then you cross over, and the goal fractures into 1,000 smaller goals. Protect this, optimize that, diversify here. The simplicity is gone, and with it, the clarity. Now you're not afraid of one thing, you're afraid of everything. Market corrections, inflation, tax changes, sequence of returns risk, concentration risk, liquidity risk, risks you never thought about before because you didn't have enough to lose. The fear isn't irrational. That's what makes it so hard to name. Every concern you have is technically valid. The market could drop, your industry could shift, a wrong move could cost you years. So you treat the fear like wisdom. You call it being responsible, and maybe it is, but somewhere in that responsibility, something else is happening. You're not building anymore, you're bracing. Every financial decision starts to feel like a test you could fail, and the stakes are everywhere. You second-guess things you used to decide in minutes. You research obsessively. You compare yourself to people who have more, and suddenly your 7 figures feels fragile. You read about someone who lost it all, and you see yourself in every mistake they made. The fear stops being about reality. It becomes about possibility. What could go wrong, what you didn't prepare for, what you can't control, and that's the trap. Because there's always something you can't control. The anxiety isn't coming from your circumstances. It's coming from the belief that if you just think harder, plan better, prepare more, you can eliminate the uncertainty. You can't, but you keep trying. And every time you try, the anxiety gets a little louder, a little more detailed, a little more justified. You've started to notice something else. The way you think about money has become mechanical, transactional. Every dollar has a job. Every decision has an ROI. You've optimized everything, and somehow, in all that optimization, the meaning fell out. You don't remember when it happened, but at some point, money stopped being a tool. It became the thing you're protecting, not what it represents, not what it could create, the number itself. You've become its guardian, and the job is exhausting. Because the number is never safe enough. There's always another threshold, another milestone that will finally feel like enough. You told yourself that at 1,000,000 you'd relax. Then it was 3, then 5, and now you're past 5, and the goal just moved again. Because the goal was never actually a number, it was a feeling. The feeling of not having to be afraid anymore. And you can't buy that, no matter how high the number goes, so you keep climbing. Not because you need more, because you don't know what else to do. The motion itself has become the point, watching it grow, tracking it, managing it. It gives you something to focus on that isn't the feeling underneath, the feeling that whispers late at night when the market's closed and the spreadsheets are put away, the feeling that says you still don't have control, that you're still vulnerable, that it could all disappear, and no matter how many times you run the numbers, that feeling doesn't care about your asset allocation. You've built wealth, but you haven't built safety, because safety isn't a financial position, it's a psychological one, and yours is still broken. You know people who have less than you and feel more secure. That used to confuse you. Now it just makes you angry, not at them, at yourself, because you did everything right. You saved when others spent. You invested when others waited. You made the hard choices, and the prize for all of that discipline is this: a bank account you're afraid to enjoy, a net worth that makes you feel more trapped than free. You've won the game, and somehow you're still losing. There's a pattern underneath all of this, and once you see it, you can't unsee it. The anxiety isn't about the money, it's about what the money represents. Proof that you're okay, that you made it, that you're safe now. You've been using wealth as evidence. Evidence that you're enough, that you did it right, that you won't end up like the version of yourself you're most afraid of, the one who fails, who loses everything, who has to start over, the one who gets left behind. And as long as wealth is your evidence, you'll never have enough, because evidence can always be contested. The market can take it, a bad decision can erase it, time can erode it. So you protect it obsessively, not because you need it to survive, but because you need it to prove something to yourself, to the people who doubted you, to the younger version of you who was afraid. You're not managing wealth, you're managing an identity, and identities are fragile. They need constant maintenance, constant validation, constant defense. That's what the anxiety is. It's the feeling of trying to hold on to proof that keeps shifting. And the more you have, the more you have to lose, not just financially, psychologically. If you lost it all tomorrow, you wouldn't just lose the money. You'd lose the story you've been telling yourself about who you are. That's the real fear, not poverty, identity collapse. The money is just the symbol, and you can't let the symbol break, because if it does, what's left? Who are you without it? You don't know. And that not knowing is heavier than any market crash. If you've made it here with me, I want to invite you to